Hello, and welcome to Hearth Hammer. We are a family-friendly D&D show, but tonight we are going to play something special. We are going to play, and learn to play, really, is what we're going to be doing, the Daggerheart Beta. Super excited about it tonight. It just came out today. And I would not have otherwise done this, but we had a little bit of schedule interruption to our normal D&D group, so we decided to go ahead and just dive in, feet first, barely any time preparing, and just all learning to play the Daggerheart Beta together. Thankfully, Spencer Stark and Matt Mercer have put together an incredible package for this beta. I mean, it is more complete of a rules with a quick start and everything than some TTRPG systems that I have purchased, outright. So more on that later. But super excited about this. It's pretty fantastic. I went ahead and printed the Quickstart guide, Quickstart Adventure, just because I wanted to be able to look at some things while we did this. Even though I've got screens, we're going to do this. We're doing it live. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, if you do not know what Daggerheart is, we're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, I need to fix the cameras because we normally have 6 people and they are messed up at the moment. But that said, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. 2 days till spring break, so super pumped.
Nice.
Yep.
So we weirdly have all of next week and the Monday after. I don't know why we have the Monday after, but we have the Monday after. So.
Why question a good thing?
I mean, I guess it's a good thing.
Well, for me, it would be a great thing.
Right. No, it will be a good thing.
I can hear my children screaming as we speak. Our spring break is this week.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do this. Going to adjust just a little bit. There we go. No, I'm not going to do that. I didn't like that. So. Just kidding. We're going to go back to the bottom. Okay. Alrighty then. So, let me just check the stream manager here because we've got Writing Gamer in the chat. What's up? Thank you for joining us. He says, "What's good, CJ?"
What's good? Is this Sandifer? Is this Josh?
Maybe. I think so.
It might be. I think it is.
I think so.
If it's Josh, what's up, bud? It's been a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, it is. He says. I forgot that's what he changed his name to.
Yeah.
Because I talk to him in like other people's chat all the time, but then I've forgotten. So his original handle. But Josh, what's up? Glad you're here. So, we are super pumped tonight because we're going to play Daggerheart. And again, like I said, if you don't know, Daggerheart is the new TTRPG system from Critical Role's publishing company, Darrington Press. Darrington Press has put out quite a few things already, including Candela Obscura and some actual like board games or tabletop games as well, which have been very well received. But this is the one that I am most excited about. And probably for obvious reasons, because it is their high fantasy, campaign length style TTRPG. And like I said earlier, they knocked it out of the park for a beta. Because not only are the documents, like I said, very well laid out, they are put together in an easy way to understand. But at the same time, they already have a partnership with Demiplane, which if you don't know what Demiplane is basically the non-Wizards of the Coast D&D Beyond. It was actually started by 2 people from D&D Beyond. I think they were part of the original creator team. And then once D&D Beyond was bought out, they left, started Demiplane, and they create basically a nexus around a different TTRPG. So now we have a Daggerheart Nexus. There's an Avatar: The Last Airbender Nexus, or Avatar Legends. There's a Pathfinder Nexus. There's even a 5e Nexus for the generic 5e rules that are available in Creative Commons so that you can also play through there. But they have a fantastic character builder. I mean, comparatively, how easy was it to like go through that character creation process?
I would
I
say
mean-
the hardest thing was that the app we're using is being used by 1 billion people at the moment, and so there was definitely some lag there. And I did it on my
Yes.
phone, so like I was having like finishing up
Ah.
dinner, so I was doing that. So that was a little bit challenging having to like zoom in because I'm an old man and had trouble reading. But I thought that there was a lot of freedom in making a character, and like they're like just put whatever you want down here, put whatever you want down here, and so I
Yeah.
really liked that.
And
Thankfully, it's a character that I've written before, and so it's like, oh, okay, I
And
I
it
know kind of where
becomes
I'm going.
and it becomes like part of the mechanics for your character. It's like actually a useful thing. It's not just character fluff.
Fluff, right?
So, I mean, it is, but it's useful fluff. So, which is pretty great. Yeah. So, real quick, I'm gonna kind of just go through. I'm gonna give a super short overview of this system. Although it'll probably read it all out because I'm not kidding. They literally have thought of everything in this. But as far as this goes, this is a 2d12 system. Okay, and it's called the Daggerheart system, as far as I know. But the 2d12 are called the duality dice. And those are the dice that players roll for everything as far as determining, success or failure. And they do have to be different colors. So, for example, you have 2d12, and you're going to have one, just choose ahead of time, doesn't really matter, but you're going to have, like, say, one that represents hope. This white and gold one, it's very, kind of divination or something, very hopeful. And then you've got this other color, which we'll just say is the fear dice. So you've got hope and fear. And basically, instead of rolling a d20, you roll 2d12. And you add the numbers together to get your success or failure. There's still an ability check or a DC, whatever you want to call it, to beat a roll. However, because there's two, depending on which one is higher, also gives you an outcome. So if the hope die comes out higher, then and you succeed and beat the number you need to get, meet it or beat it, then you get to succeed with with hope, and you get a hope point. And one of the really cool things, and this is going to generate, I don't know if you guys thought about this, but this is going to generate a whole new set of custom acrylic tokens, stone tokens, whatever, glass beads, doesn't matter. But they're used for hope die, for fear, or for hope tokens, fear tokens. Not only that, but even for your modifiers. So, like, say CJ is running a bard, right? Maybe he finds some really cool custom tokens that look like music notes.
Mm.
And then what would happen is when you roll, part of the objective for rolling is that, say you have a modifier of 3, right? So it's like, my agility is +3. I get to add 3 to my roll. Well, you basically take 3 of those physical music tokens, and you basically throw them in the box with your hope and your other die. That way it's like very easy to see success +3 kind of thing. So that's going to be a fun thing later on, I'm sure. So also what's really cool is that if you roll doubles on your dice, even if it would be lower and not actually be a success, with the 2 numbers added together, as long as it's doubles, that's critical success. So, it doesn't have to be double 12s to be a critical success. Anything that's doubles, which is pretty awesome. If your fear die is the one that's higher, then it's with fear, and the GM, may have extra consequence even if it's a success. So, or get a fear or a fear token. And there's kind of this back and forth with fear tokens and hope tokens as well. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I am actually going to start reading from their own playtest material. But first, do you guys have any thoughts or questions? You, the players.
No, nothing that I can think of.
I'm pretty sure we're just basically going to get into it, and it's going to...
I think there's going to be, there's going to be a lot of winging it.
There's going to be a lot of winging it. There's going to be a lot of me reading, so bear with me on that. But it's going to be important. It's going to be with purpose. So, okay, let's see. Let me get this. Where did it go? Okay. That is this. All of this playtest material as well is on the Daggerheart Nexus on Demiplane as well. So you've got the game compendium, you've got playtest content, and I'm not kidding, it's so well done. So it just, like Dave said, and CJ, it's just being used by everybody right now. Because this is the first day, so. All right. Let me get to the part where I have to read to you. One of the cool things, too, is that this game uses cards for some of the primary abilities, and I just really like it. I like that it includes these cards that you can have, which is pretty cool. It's a very cool visual element. So, okay, here we go. Teaching the game. There is a section here. And again, I'm telling you, this is like the best laid out thing that I have ever seen. So, quick start guide. You got a whole bunch of the character stuff, and we'll look at that in a minute, because it's going to tell you guys to look at that in a minute. But game master stuff. Okay. Also, the quick start, or the core rules that they included are 377 pages long, which is phenomenal. Again, for a beta. So, all right. So now we have a whole section on teaching the game, which again, I just can't say enough good things about it. So, let's see. Mechanical overview. We are going to quickly cover the basics of what you need to know to start playing. First off, Daggerheart is a collaborative, narrative-focused role-playing game. That means we'll all be working together to tell a story using mechanics of the game as our foundation. You will each make choices for your characters during the adventure, and I will describe the rest of the world reacting around them. Sometimes I might ask you a question, what your character knows about a place or has heard about a person. I'll do my best to integrate your answers into the story we're telling so that we're building this world together. Okay, let's turn to your character sheet, and you will find an additional page underneath that we'll call the character sheet explainer. Okay, so obviously we're not in person. You guys are looking at the Nexus, right? You don't have this printed off, but I'm going to show it for our audience at home. Also, one of the things that I heard this called is a sideboard, which I thought was fantastic. Okay. So, first of all, the pre-generated characters start off like this. You've got a really great layout, some really cool line art. I'm sure it's not final, but this is a Qatari Ranger, a cat person ranger. Okay. It gives a breakdown of it, and this is what's also cool at the bottom. It has your connections with other players, But then it has a print and play token at the bottom of the sheet, which is amazing. I love that. Like I said, CJ, you could literally take this, print this 40-page document out, and go, and not need to have anything else. Then, what we're all familiar with, a character sheet. Okay, and one thing that Daggerheart does is it uses a different, like each character sheet for a class is unique. So they're all very similar, but the classes have some unique things, unique fields on here. So what this explainer is talking about is this right here. Okay. And what's really awesome is that you can do this and line it up with the arrows. If you can see my screen. And it's going to tell you what each one of those sections means. And then on the other side, it does the same thing. It tells you what each one of those sections does, and it has an explanation for each one of the fields. So this page is phenomenal for teaching the game. Absolutely love it. Slide it to the left, use the arrows pointing to it. So it talks about, what evasion means, right? So evasion represents your ability to not be hit by an attack. Yours is 11. The GM will roll against this number when seeing if an adversary hits you. If you do get hit, you'll be able to mark armor slots. So basically, it's like your base DC for getting hit, getting attacked. So it's pretty awesome. And it goes through this in the character description. I'm not going to read all of these at the moment. So yeah, you have that character sheet explainer in this document, and I'm sure it's going to be in the final. This is going to have to be a box set. No question. This is going to have to be a box set because it's going to have a lot of physical things like that. And also, I bet it's going to have the decks of cards for ancestries, for abilities, for classes, for all of that stuff, for community. And so I personally cannot wait for that. I think it's going to be amazing. In the meantime, I'm going to have to print them off and have them in person. Okay, so now that we've looked at your character sheets, and for you in the party right now, and for anyone else, if you're playing along and following along on the Demiplane website, pretty much clicking anywhere on the character sheet will give you that explainer. So, for example, looking at Louis, which is CJ's character here, if you first of all, if you mouse over it and it shows you dice, then it's gonna ask you to do that. But if you click on the word agility, instead of like mousing over the 0 for agility, if you click on the word agility, it's gonna say exactly what it says on this explainer. It's going to say sprint, leap, or maneuver. A high agility score means you're faster on your feet, nimbler on difficult terrain, and quicker to react to danger. You'll roll with agility to scurry up a rope quickly, sprint to cover, or bound from rooftop to rooftop. So that, like I said, that's kind of the explanation there. Same with evasion. If I go over and I click on evasion, it's going to say, oh, your evasion is 11. And that 11 is, it even breaks it on the website. It even breaks it down. You get 9 from your class, 1 from your leather armor, and 1 from your ancestry, which is what Daggerheart uses for like racial races, racial feats. So, and then it'll give you a breakdown of what evasion is, just like what I read on that page. So yes. You all, with the interactive record sheets, can click on anything. So, okay. Now that we've looked at our character sheet, let's talk about how we roll some dice in Daggerheart. I'll give you the basics, and we'll learn more as we go. First, you grab your 2d12, called your duality dice. Decide which one represents hope and which one represents fear. So like I said, you've got to have, it asks you to have 2 different colors. When you have your character do something in the story that is dangerous or could result in consequences, I will probably ask you to make an action roll. You will roll both of those d12 dice and add the applicable character trait to the result. I'll usually tell you which one it is, but sometimes I'll ask you if I'm not sure. If you want to, you may use some of the tokens you have representing the modifier for a roll. Like I said earlier, that's one of the big things they're going to go for is physical tokens, which I think is awesome. Let's say that you're making an agility roll and you have a +2. In that trait, you have a +2 in that trait. You'll take 2 tokens in your hand and roll them along with your dice. Then you'll count everything up and tell me the results along with which die rolled higher. For example, if you rolled a 6 on the hope die and a 10 on the fear die, that would be a 16 plus 2 tokens, plus the 2 tokens you rolled, bringing it to a total of 18. Because the fear die rolled higher, you would tell me that you got an 18 with fear. If you rolled with hope, you mark a hope on your sheet. So basically, if you succeed and you rolled with hope, you get a hope point, and you put it on your sheet. And so on your character sheet, there is a section right here, and it says with hope. So if you roll with fear, then I, as the GM, take the fear token to use later. And so, like right now, I have essentially I have 10 D6, orange D6 that I'm a pretender fear tokens. So, I mean, they have fireballs on them, right? That's fearful. You're afraid of that. So, sometimes you might have experience, which those are those 3 experiences that you guys created and wrote down, that applies to a roll. Maybe you have expert climber and you're attempting to scale a wall, or eagle eye and you're trying to spot tracks in the dirt. You can spend a hope point before the roll to describe how that experience helps you and add its value to your roll. So essentially, I love that this, what would normally be character fluff in D&D, becomes part of the mechanics, and you can use that as, you know, a +1 essentially to your roll. Lastly, let's talk about the spellcast rolls. Those are action rolls using your spellcast trait, which will be on your foundation card if you're a spellcaster. For example, Marlowe's spellcast trait is Instinct. Marlowe is one of the pre-generated characters. All right, we've talked about how to roll dice. Let's talk about what they do in the story. Usually, I'll set a difficulty. I feel like I'm going to be reading this entire time, so I apologize. So yeah, I just stopped. Let's stop there for a second. How do you guys feel about that fear? Fear token, hope token, like, as it makes sense.
It does. I have a question. So in the tool, I just clicked on agility as you were talking through it. I rolled. It says 2 for hope, 2 for fear. There's the -1 below it. And then it says critical success in the lower right-hand corner.
Yes, absolutely. So
what does all that mean?
So again, so if you were rolling for like an agility check, basically, that's when you clicked on the agility, and it rolled for you, okay. Then what happened was it would basically be like you got a natural 20 in that instance. So is your character's agility -1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why it says -1 on your agility.
Okay.
But because you rolled doubles on the D12s, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing else matters at that point. It is a critical success, okay. and you win that roll. even
Nice.
even though say the difficulty was like a medium and you had to beat a 10, you rolled 2 2s, right? Is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so even though you rolled 2 2s and 4 minus 1 is less than the 10 you needed to beat the roll, because it's doubles, critical success every time. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, good question. And that was a question I had originally, as I hoped that was the case, but I was a little worried at first because in the Learn to Play videos that they put out, they don't actually say that it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you get lower than what the target number was. But yeah, great question. Anything else?
Yeah, so I could be here all night, but there's a
This
on
is
the
a Learn to
character sheet,
Play.
there's
Even if we don't
also-
hardly get to play, we're learning to play.
I also see there are 2 hand pictures on the active weapons.
Yes.
It looks like one is colored, one is not. Can I switch hands? Does that mean my primary hand is left? Maybe it looks like the left one is colored and the right one's not. If
So
black is empty.
it says weapons and proficiency. I think that on the website, the color just means maybe you've got a single-handed weapon equipped.
Okay, so maybe both would be lit up if I had a 2-hand.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have
see if
stuff
you
in
could.
each of my hand, and they're both like kind of colored in yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I said, I think it just means that you're only holding something in one hand. And then it also is your proficiency, saying that you, because I clicked on the hands, on active weapons, and it says weapons are defined by several details. It gives a full list of things and talks about your proficiency, primary and secondary weapon, throwing a weapon, weapon statistics, damage dice, damage type. Yeah, it gives you all that information right there. But as far as them one being lit up and one not, yes, I believe that is what it is. So, but that's also great.
And they assume you're right-handed. Ugh.
Unless it's from the opposite way. Maybe they assume you're left-handed.
No, they would not assume that.
You're right. They would not. Cool. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Hold on. Any questions from the audience? Because I don't want to discount the audience. Move that. Sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. Yeah, Writing Gamer, Josh, if you have any questions, check them in chat. I'll definitely try to answer them. But
we got a comment from Con Slay saying, "Where is Noah?"
Where's Noah? Con, what is up? How's it going? Noah is not playing in our present campaign right now. He said
Just
he
us
got
losers.
too busy or something. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he bowed out for the time being. And so we've got a new crew. Actually, we do have one person. Con, do you know? So if you know Noah and you know Colin, do you also know Austin? Because I know that they were all friends from Texas in the same area. Austin is actually in my campaign still, or again, I should say. However, he is not here tonight. He decided he wanted to go to a basketball game, like an NBA basketball game instead. Whatever. So yeah, he's not here, but hey, thanks for joining us. Let's see. We are, if you're just joining us, by the way, too, we are learning the new Critical Role TTRPG called Daggerheart. They just released the rules in beta today, but they're fantastic. So, all right, we've talked about how to roll dice. Let's talk about what they do in the story. Usually, I'll set a difficulty for the roll based on the situation, like 6 or 14 or 25. And your goal is to meet or beat that roll. If an ability or a spell has a number on it, like the spellcast roll, parentheses 13, That's the difficulty of the roll. If you succeed, you get what you want. You get what you wanted, obviously. If you don't, you fail and something new happens in the story because of it. Hope and fear also play a part in this. Perfect, Josh. Glad that you could watch on the TV. If you get a success with hope, that means you accomplish your goal and all is well. You can continue to pass that scene around the table to other players as you'd like. And you do get a hope token. A success with fear means you do it, but there's a consequence or a complication. So I know that I've talked about this before with other people, but this is very similar to the Star Wars system from Fantasy Flight Games. They don't use D12s. They don't use standard D12s. They have custom dice. They use D8s and D12s to make a dice pool, but this is essentially the same. If you're so yeah, it's pretty cool system, and I love it. So yeah, if you a success with fear means you do it, but there's consequences or complications. So I'll get to make what we call a GM move. That just means that I'll change the story in some way, or an NPC will take an action. You might have to mark a stress. Bad guys might attack. The environment might change, or something else entirely. The move that I make won't undermine your success. You'll still get that, but you will get what you wanted. But it means that I'll continue to push the story we're telling forward in a little bit different way. If you roll a failure with hope, you don't get what you wanted, but things don't go as badly as they could. I'll make a move in line with the fiction, and then I'll turn things back to the rest of the table. So meaning maybe that NPC doesn't attack or anything. Saving the best for last, if you ever roll two of the same number... if you roll a failure with fear, the situation goes very badly. I'll get to make a move, and I'll probably raise the stakes to the highest to highlight the consequences. So, kind of all makes sense there, right? Saving the best for last, if you ever roll two of the same number, no matter what that number is, that is a critical success in Daggerheart. You get what you wanted and a little extra. You get to mark a hope, and you can also clear a stress if you have one. I think that's pretty cool. If it is an attack roll, you get to add the maximum to your damage dice. You get to add the maximum your damage dice could roll as a modifier to your damage roll. So if you deal 1d8 plus 4 damage, you would add 8 to the roll. I like this. Side note, I really like this as almost a compromise between doubling the dice or doubling the damage. You know what I'm saying? So like the way that Critical Role does theirs is they double the damage. At least that's what they used to do. And so basically they would roll, if they got a natural 20, they would still roll the same number of dice, but then they would double the dice number total. Whereas in D&D, rules as written is you actually just roll double the amount of dice. And so you could still get all ones and do hardly any damage with a critical success, with a natural 20. I like this because it pretty much guarantees you're going to get max damage plus a roll. So you could still roll a 1 on the D8 plus 4, but then you get 8 on top of that. So I do like that. Any thoughts, questions about the rolls?
Makes sense.
I think so. Finally, we're going to talk about combat. When you want to attack a target, you'll ask me if it is in range of your weapon. If it is, you can make an action roll with that weapon, using the trait it calls for. This is called an attack roll. If you succeed against the target, you'll then make a damage roll. look at the damage dice section on your weapon and roll what it says. Then tell me the total and whether the damage is physical or magical. When a fight breaks out, I'll usually place the action tracker on the table. So instead of being like, roll for initiative, if you're in person, you'll be like, slap the action tracker down, I guess. That could be a fun, exciting way, to initiate. Yeah. You aren't. Oh, whenever you make an action roll, also place a token on the tracker. You aren't limited to how many tokens you put on. So if you ever need more, feel free to grab them. So this is going to require a fair bit of tokens from everyone. Which, again, could be anything. Beads, coins, whatever. Then, when a player rolls a failure, or if the player gets a success but with fear, then basically it changes who gets to do the rolling. So there's not really initiative. The players just go first. And then as soon as somebody rolls with fear, or as soon as somebody fails, then the GM gets to go in the way that it was described in the other part. So a success with fear means that that basically I get to kind of like give a story point. A failure then means that maybe I get to attack with some NPCs or something. So yeah, I can use the GM. I can also use the GM move to spend as many of those tokens. So basically, when these tokens are put on there, so say you all attack and no one is missing, and you get like a couple rounds in and you have put like 8 tokens on there, and then before somebody fails, well then I get to spend those tokens to basically do my moves in a certain way. Yeah, we'll kind of put that in action here in a second. So that is kind of the main start of it. Let's see. There's some. Now we're kind of like looking at some stuff for me. As far as in here, I'm not going to read it all, but it does kind of go into more of the mechanical overview of like how to set the difficulty. 10 is easy, 15 is medium, and 20 is hard, typically, for like the roll that you have to beat. Another thing is that sometimes you can still get advantage or disadvantage on rolls. You as players can even spend a hope token or hope point to give advantage to another player. And basically what that does is it adds a d6 to your roll. So, or subtracts a d6 if it's disadvantage. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty fantastic. All right, so gives we've got an example here. So there is a Thistle Folk Thief, okay, as an NPC. They have a serrated blade, melee, range, 3d6, physical damage. Attack modifier +3, difficulty of 14. So in order to hit them, you have to roll a 14. And then they have 3 health points. They don't have any armor, because most NPCs will not have armor. They'll just have health, maybe stress. And then they have minor, major, and severe like wounds that they can take. So, okay. Let's see. So we're going to get into the beginning of Act 1. So we're actually going to get into the playing now, and we'll learn together. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Perfect.
Let's make some mistakes. Let's get messy.
Let's make mistakes. All right.
Let's get dangerous.
We're going to have fun, and we're learning a new system, which is great. I plan to learn this as many times as possible over the coming months. Okay. So, the Act 1, this is called The Merchant Cart. This evening, your party finally made it to the Sable Wood, a sprawling forest of colossal trees, some say are even older than the Forgotten Gods. It's a place renowned for two things: the sunken pathways that provide the trade routes for many traveling merchants, and its unique hybrid animals. Even now, from within your carriage, you can hear strange sounds: the bird calls of the lark moth, the croak of the lemur toads, the skittering of a family of foxbats in the underbrush. One of you is driving the carriage. Who is it? Hold on. First, actually, before we get
We
started.
should probably talk about characters a little bit,
Let's
right?
talk about our characters. I just thought about that. Yes, let's please go around and describe your character. CJ, go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, so my character's name is Louis. Is it a simia? It's like a monkey
Yes,
human.
I believe Simia is correct.
Simia, he is a bard wordsmith, and so
Amazing.
I mean, I don't know how far into backstory you want to go, but a bard wordsmith uses rhetoric and uses compelling speech to do things. A bard, you can either be more music based or more public speaking, rousing, whatever. And so that's the direction that I went with
Fantastic.
Simia. He is kind of like a criminal flim flam man, confidence guy kind of thing. So that's kind of the direction there that I went with. And a little anecdote about him is, even though he is Simia, he thinks he's human and acts human and tries to look human, but he's not.
That's okay. That's awesome. I'm going to try to show off this actually here real quick. Let's see. I just want to show off your character sheet and to show off Demiplane Nexus just a little bit, because why not? Okay.
One of the things too that I thought was really cool while you're pulling that up with these characters is there's certain things that if you can narratively work them in, it creates a bonus, which I thought was really neat.
Yes.
And so, like, for him being a wordsmith, if while I'm giving a speech, if I can use 3 rhyming words, I get a bonus, which I think is really neat. I think it's really neat to go, okay, let's try and make this happen.
Oh, no, I would 100% agree. It is pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
let me see if I can do this. Well, that's not going to really do it. It's not going to matter. It's not going to increase the size. So
Yes, it says when speaking to a person you're trying to impress, persuade, or offend, use at least 3 rhyming words to add 1d4 to the action roll against them, and you can do that as many times. It's not whatever.
That's awesome, honestly.
And then the other is, per long rest, you can give a heartfelt, inspiring speech, and all allies that can hear you clear stress. So I'm excited to kind of shove some of these things into playing.
Yeah, no doubt. But I love this artwork too. I know it's not none of it's final necessarily, but I love all of the outlines and stuff of everything. Again, too, if you mouse over something on here, like right here, it's kind of hard to see, but if you mouse over it, it does show up as two dice, a yellow and a blue dice. So, which is pretty great. Same if you mouse over all these other things. So, and you've got your hope here. I love this too. You come down here to equip effects and features, equipment. You've got all of your equipment here. Active, I'm assuming, is what shows you've got it equipped.
Right.
Looks like the little outline shows that it is active. We've got details about your character, which is pretty amazing. Background questions, connections, and experiences. And I love that those experiences are those actual stuff. This is also really cool too. Directly in the character sheets, because this is a beta, you've got questions and feedback. So, and then a journal too to do stuff. So,
Which I think is really nice in there, just to be able to add, because you can add journal entry to journal entry. And so instead
Yes.
of having to keep track of my notebook that I have at my desk, like what was the guy's name that we talked to, like you can build your journal in the character sheet
Yeah.
to come back to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this, we have not talked about character creation. Probably do that at another time. But one of the cool things about character creation is that you have domains for your character, and those domains are almost like each class has 2 domains that they can pull from. It almost kind of gives it a subclass feel, and so you can pull things from there. So like he has domain effects. He has inspirational words, and the Book of Typhar, Wild Flame, make a spellcasting roll. Also Bard features, which is pretty cool. Wordsmith, the subclass. There is a subclass, but Simia, Ancestry, and Slyborn, Community. I love how you've got Ancestry and Community, which together make up, your kind of character's heritage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so it's basically, what you were born as, but then also how you were raised or the community you grew up in. So nature and nurture. So that's fantastic. Okay. And then Kyle.
Yeah.
Did you send me yours, by the way? I'll show it off too if you've got it.
Yeah, let me pull that link up. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I think it was in the session chat.
It is. Okay.
Here, let me put it in again because I updated it. So my character is Jervik.
Oh, you put it in the session chat. That wasn't helpful.
Yeah. So
And it may, I don't think you've given us permissions to be able to see it.
Oh, I see that. Anyone with the link?
What's your character's name?
So this character is named Jervik.
Okay, hold on.
And
do you need to repost the link, by the way?
In the campaign 2 chat?
No.
I'm looking to see. No, it works. If you click it again, it comes up.
Yeah,
okay.
I updated their permissions.
Is it Jervik or Jevrik?
There we go.
I don't know if it was like
Looks
a Brett
like it's
Favre
Jevrik because that's what I wrote.
But I didn't know if it was like a Brett Favre thing. It might be a Brett Favre thing. I didn't know.
Favre?
Yeah, Favre.
The name is like kind of intentionally jumbled.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, he is a Order-born Clank Guardian. So
nice.
He's kind of like this mechanical, kind of mostly like stone-like creature with kind of like glinty eyes, and just like really asymmetrical and just kind of clunky looking.
That's awesome.
And
these are basically constructs or mechanical.
Yeah,
but
like
the ancestry of the race is called Clanks, which I love.
Yep.
So
he is a guardian, and then the subclass is stalwart, so it's like a really tanky guardian. And he was created by someone of like a very devout religion that we have not fleshed out yet. And so he has in the character like kind of instilled in him this like very devout following of his creator, I guess. And but also something bad has happened to like an assistant at his creator's workshop. So there's like this kind of like I think a sense of being created for vengeance.
Okay. All right. I like it.
I saw it with the clanks that they're made of different materials. What is Jevrik or Jervik made of?
Mostly stone. And then presumably, I guess like some other kind of binding materials, but I would say mostly stone.
Nice.
Let's do this so we can see it a little better. Cool. Yeah, so I love I love that. That's fantastic. I like how some of these domain effects too. Not good enough. When you roll your dice, your damage dice, you may re-roll any ones or twos.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
And then whirlwind, which is kind of what you think, right? Like spinning around, making a whirlwind attack. I like the Guardian. I like the Clink Guardian. I actually started to make a Clink Guardian myself when I was messing with the character creator. So it's pretty cool. And Stalwart as well. I like how you don't get, like, your evasion is low because you are not. I think it's probably because of your ancestry there. Your ancestry doesn't give you a high one, but you have high armor. So
high armor and high damage thresholds.
yes. And so that's the thing we haven't talked about yet, really, is that I'm sure it'll come later. But basically, when you take damage, you can spend an armor point to reduce it by 3. And you can spend multiple points of armor in one go. So you could potentially reduce all the damage, but if you're taking 12 points of damage and you want to reduce it all because it might be the last bit to kill you, then you can do that.
Do you reduce it by 3 or you reduce it by your armor score?
You reduce it by 3. So here's the thing: if I were to roll damage against you, all right, and say I rolled, so first of all, too, I've got to look at your damage thresholds, which are 8 for minor, 13 for major, and 18 for severe. So if I rolled 15, okay, that would put it in the major damage
Just
section,
2 HP.
which would be 2 of your HP bubbles. Okay. Now the difference is, say you're like, I want to reduce the damage by 3 so that it gets it under the major and into the minor. So you don't even have to reduce that much. You could spend 1 armor slot of your 9 armor slots, reduce it from 15 to 12, which then puts it in the minor, and you only take 1 hit point now. So just by using 1 armor point, you can reduce it down into that lower bracket to only take 1 hit point or health point. So does that make sense?
Yeah, when I'm reading, I don't know if this is class based or what, but when I click on my armor score, it says when you take damage, you can negate some or all of it by marking one of the open armor slots next to the armor, then reduce the damage by your armor score. And you have 3 available slots, and you can earn more over the course of the campaign.
So that is, let's see, I think that is because of your class. Yes.
Okay.
So, actually, it's because of your subclass, Stalwart. So because you picked Guardian and Stalwart, Guardian and Stalwart. Stalwart says when you take this foundation, raise all your damage thresholds by 2, which is awesome. But this says when you take physical damage, you may spend a hope. So you do have to spend a hope instead of armor for this part. So you can spend. So not only can you spend armor points to reduce it by 3, but then you can spend a hope token instead of marking an armor slot to reduce the damage by your armor score. So basically, you could spend a hope to reduce it by 9 because your armor score is 9.
Okay.
Now, one thing I am not sure of, and I'll have to find out later, is if your armor score is reduced because you've used armor points, if that lowers the number as well. It may not. It may remain 9 for that specific ability, but that is a unique scenario that they may or may not have taken into consideration yet, since this is beta. Knowing them, though, they're pretty smart. I bet there's probably something in the rules. I'll have to find out. But yeah, so because you're a guardian, you're a tank, basically, and that is a class feature of yours. No one else here has that specifically, so everyone else would basically mark 1 armor, and they can reduce it by 3. So, but yeah, good call out, good question on that. So yeah, anyway, Dave, go ahead and let's talk about yours.
Hey, so my character is named Hieronymus Hargrave III. He is a highborn human wizard, and I imagine him as a younger version of Sir Reginald Hargreaves from the Umbrella Academy. Yeah,
That's awesome.
So especially mannerisms and such. He wears fancy clothes, has dark eyes, etc. Personality-wise, he's tall and lithe. He's actually an elf, and no, he's actually a human, I think. Yeah, he's a human. Confident and aloof, and his background is that he is wealthy. He decided to become an adventurer after he had a bit of a slip-up, made a bad business deal that he doesn't talk about too much, but it knocked his family down in status in his hometown. So currently trying to get a bit of his status back, but uses a wand. His primary I guess experiences would be the ability to learn and the ability to make good judgment.
That's awesome. One thing I just noticed, by the way, on the character sheets on Demiplane, if you down here under this, if you click here, you can turn off different things. So we could turn off feedback as a display. But I like how it also has companion and beast form on here too for classes that use that. So just thought that's pretty cool. Learning.
I'm laughing, I'm picturing Louis thinking that he actually is a human, but was cursed and turned into beast form of Simeon, and like that's what he's just assuming. Like, he has to undo this curse, but that's really who he is. Sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, you as a wizard, and you said you are a School of Knowledge subclass wizard, which is pretty fantastic. I love how it takes knowledge into such mechanical consideration throughout this whole game so far. Also, too, I like how you have this of your subclass. You can actually, you may mark a stress instead of spending a hope to use an experience on a roll. If you do, double the experience modifier when you add it. So again, when you're creating a character, you create 3 experiences as part of your background, and they actually have mechanical benefit, which is fantastic. They're not just character fluff. And so because
2 experiences, but one
2
is
experiences. Sorry,
one is a 1.
One's a +2, one's a 1. But yeah, so if Dave's wizard here had what are your experiences that you put in here? Let's see.
Let me go back and
under details. Yeah, under details.
Learning and judging.
Learning and judging. So if you are, say you're in a library and you are trying to, learn some information from like library books or something, you could absolutely use a hope and get a +4 on learning because if you use that experience. So
with that business about spending a stress instead of a hope.
Mm-hmm. So normally to use that, you could use a stress token. Basically, you could mark a stress bubble on your character sheet to expend an experience. But because of your subclass, it looks like you can, instead of using a stress, you can use a hope die and double it. So.
I got you. So is one of those stress or hope like more expensive than the other, or rare, or like how would one normally pick between the two? Is it just mechanics that say use one or the other and I get to exchange them here, or is it that
I believe
hope
so.
is like
So
normally less dangerous or something?
well,
used
so I
than-
think normally
than
it's like
stress?
you have to build up hope through the course of a game,
Okay.
through the course of a session. Let's see. It looks like you have 2 points automatically. At least you've got 2 filled in, so I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily
it
sure.
did that for me.
Automatically. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
everybody's did. So so it looks like you start with maybe 2 hope tokens. But essentially you would gain hope as you roll in the game and have a successful roll with hope. So you get more hope tokens. And I believe it even said that there's not necessarily a limit on that. So if you click on hope, that's a good thing with this website, right? Click on hope and read it. Anytime you roll with hope on your duality die, using hope. Once you've gained hope and recorded it on your character sheet, you can spend it to power special abilities, erasing it from your character sheet when you do. You can only hold up to 5 hope at any given time, so you don't want to save it for too long, which is good. It's like, it's a resource to be used. So hope can be used in several ways. You can help an ally. So basically you can give an ally advantage by using a hope token, to utilize an experience, or to activate a hope feature. So basically that feature that we were just looking at under your wizard subclass is one of those hope features. Guys, we haven't even talked about death yet, and it's fantastic. I'm not kidding. It's amazing. We're gonna, like, honestly, we're probably not gonna get to too much RP stuff tonight.
I do want to do the create connections though. I thought that would be interesting for us to do here as a party real quick. So from what I understand is I ask the questions in my create connections and one of you guys answers it and I put that answer in.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it. So here's
Is
hold
that
on
what
before
we're
we
supposed to do?
Yeah,
I
so
think so.
before we do that too, I want to do this. Here's a thought.
Yeah.
Tell me what
Yeah.
you guys think. One, I'm super pumped about this. And because we only really spend 2 hours, and tonight it's been like an hour and 20 minutes, to do this, we're learning to play. Fantastic. I love it. But what I was going to propose is anytime we, for whatever reason, can't get the whole gang together, we play this. And we can just start an alternate, little mini adventure. What do you think? Yay?
I like it.
Nay?
I like it, yeah.
I like it. But and it'll, I think it'd be good too, because then we can drop in and out of it too.
Right.
We'll
Right.
make it to where it works. But
Okay.
we did that with our last campaign. Honestly, we started a Hearth and Hammer adventures. And I even created like new overlays for it and everything. And so they created 5 new characters, and we had kind of in the same world, but they were like off doing other things. I think that'll be fun. Okay. Yes. CJ, why don't you start off with those questions?
Yeah. So just a couple things more for my character. So as you guys think about how you're connected to me, so his two experiences are that he's very analytical, and that he is charming. So those are kind of his things. He really looked up to another scoundrel when he was growing up that tended to be a complete buffoon, but always lucked out. Like he always fell out of the problem, and it worked out for him. And he kind of ignored the fact that he was lucky, and really just kind of thought, okay, you can work your way out of anything. Like you can, and so that's kind of his big deal is I'm gonna talk my way out of this. I'm gonna figure my way out of this. I'm going to get in trouble. So that's kind of his deal, his jive a little bit there. So I've got 3 questions here, and there's one that I really think would work only with Jevrick. I think it'll work with Jevrick. These are the questions they gave me to ask. And so the question that it says is, why do you grab my hand at night? So why does Jevrick grab Louis's hand at night?
He had nightmares.
Okay. All right. All right.
Love that.
Yeah.
Jevrick has nightmares or Louis?
Yeah, Rick, yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that. And then I'll let Hieronymus. I'll let you pick which question to answer because I'll let you pick kind of how you want to respond to Louis. One is what made you realize we were going to be such good friends, and the other question is what do I do that annoys you? So that is two opposite sides of the coin. So really, where is Hieronymus going to fall with Louis there? And you can, I mean, I'm fine to talk about any other pieces of this to help you kind of figure out which direction he would go.
He thinks he's not a simian.
Right.
Yeah.
So he carries on, like if you were to ask him, he thinks he's a human. He was raised by a human lady around other humans, so he thinks he's human, and does whatever he can to try and look human. Okay, think Tarzan. Think reverse Tarzan.
The thing that annoys me the most about Louis is that he uses, what are they? Malaprops. So
Okay.
he tries to use big words in the situation, but they don't quite fit or make sense.
I love it.
I don't know if that may not fit well with the eloquence
It really
part,
does.
but
It really
I think it'd be fun.
Listen, that's so good because all of it, I had already planned that when he would give his like rousing speeches, is they would be very akin to Vigo's mother lines. Like they really weren't good,
Yes,
but like they
perfect.
were, but they were so bad that you were like, I really like that guy. You
So
know,
then all
And
you have
so-
to do is do things like words that are close, but allow me to defecate upon the subject, and then keep going
No, I
on.
just need to
with
be Michael Scott. I need to be Michael Scott. You
eloquent
know.
speech,
Michael,
you know?
that's it. It's Michael Scott.
Yeah, I find myself to be quite the philanderer, and so yes,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. That's good. That's good. All right, safe.
That's amazing, guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. Dave, what are your questions?
What favor have I asked of you that you're not sure you can fulfill?
And who is that to? Or is it for everybody in the group? I'm assuming it's for one person.
Whoever has something noteworthy.
What's your background? What's a little bit of your background again?
Highborn. He's like a aristocrat, noble, kind of uppity up. If we get into RP, maybe I'll do my best Boston Lockjaw accent or something.
I like it. I'm gonna let. I'm looking at this other question here. What weird hobby or strange fascination do we both share? I kind of want to play in that one.
Okay, let's do that one.
I think that would be fun for them to be connected that way. Like it drives you crazy that he uses improper words. So what weird hobby or strange fascination do we both share? I think what about impressions? I think impressions. I can see you, that's just you've been making fun of people your whole life. And so like that's something that you and I both do is impressions of people.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so to a negative consequence. Okay.
So the favor, I'll say that you have asked Jevrick to kind of tone it down a little bit on how great his creator is.
Okay.
And his creator's name. No, hold on. I gotta come up with a better
Keep
name.
it in the temple, man.
I was gonna say Mark. I'm gonna come up with something else.
His creator is Mark. Okay,
No,
he's gonna make something else. So.
Wait.
Okay.
I'm looking at the background questions. Your powerful rival is Ogden Holmeswell. What if Ogden Holmeswell was like the one that fashioned you, and you're always talking about how great he is, and it just makes him angry, and you're like,
I'm down with that.
Okay.
If that doesn't
But
just
that
like
but that
totally
guy's
wreck
supposed to be a
the-
person. He's
Yeah.
like so Ogden is like what I put is he's like the newly highest. So when I screwed up my business deal, now their family is like ahead of us in status, and that guy's also the mayor. Wasn't the richest
Okay.
guy in the city, but now he is.
Okay, so maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Sorry.
I don't know. We could change it for it to be a
No, no,
deity.
no. I was just wanting it to sow chaos a little bit. That was all. That was all. This is supposed to be a good connection, though. It's supposed to be a good connection. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Jeffrick's
So
creator,
We'll have to
his
think
name
of something.
is Philip.
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 Okay.
With one L.
Now, are these the connections, right? These are the connections? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I see, Dave, you have stuff in there.
Yeah, he didn't know that was what
I
it's
didn't
for.
understand what we were supposed to do, so
No,
I'm
no,
just
you're good.
overriding
You're good.
them.
Okay, cool.
And then my last question is what secret about yourself have you only entrusted me with?
I think we save one of those for one of the other guys when they hop on, that we can do a connection there. Because I've got another one too that's open for mine that I'll
Okay.
just leave open.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so then, Jevrick, give us 2 questions for these guys.
Okay, so let's see. How did I save your life the first time we met? Does anyone want to grab that one?
Well, why don't you read all
Mm.
3 and see which one, and
Yep.
maybe that'll give them
Sure.
the options.
So then another question is, what small gift did you give me that you notice I still carry with me? And then the third question, this is maybe kind of a softball for CJ's character. What lie have you told me about yourself that I absolutely believe?
That he's a human that turned into a simia.
Yeah.
And he absolutely believes it. No, I'm just kidding.
But
Oh,
I
wow.
believe it. That's not a lie that I told.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually
True.
believe it. This is a lie.
Okay.
And so I
That's true.
think let me do it. Let me go with that lie. And let's say that I shared some daring tale of me like fighting off all these creatures, which is why you know when you have nightmares you're like, this is my protector, which is so funny, this tiny little simian and this giant rock creature, and the juxtaposition there. But maybe when you told me about your nightmares, you know, I talked about having defeated those kind of things, whatever that looks like, you know, that I, oh my gosh, you know, whatever it was, you know, it's like, yes, I have defeated those in my
Is there a link to your character sheet?
Yeah, it was in the campaign
I'll put it in
chat.
session chat too. I'll put it in session chat.
Campaign sheets. Aha. I see it.
Yep.
All right. Louis.
Yeah, I lied about my proficiency at being a swashbuckler, or proficiency at being a daring hero.
I love it. And then what was the one that you're going to answer, Dave?
So
How he
small
saved my
gift?
life. So
Oh, I said
I'll do
okay.
this. Yeah, I'll do the save your life thing. I would say, you know, just comparatively the difference in our durability. I would say that I wandered into a bad part of town and you rescued me from a street gang.
Nice. You were on the hunt for knowledge.
I was. I
Some
was
back alley
going to
bookstore.
I was going to the local thrift store to
Yeah, you were.
to search
That's so good.
for the tomes.
Guys, just going over the character sheets is incredible. I'm just saying. Like I'm serious. Like, this is kind of like a session 0, honestly, is what we're getting to. We might have time for like a couple rolls, but man, just going through this like this already has you all as a party connected to each other in super dynamic ways, and it's amazing. Cool.
Alrighty.
Okay. Anything else about your characters, or if you want, like, let's spend maybe 15 minutes before CJ has to bounce. And let me read. I've got a couple little snippets, and I think we actually have a couple rolls you can do for tonight.
Okay.
So, yeah, and in fact, I think we can get through Act 1. It's not long. So, okay. So I read earlier that you all were driving a carriage. Who is the person driving the carriage?
I think I probably would be. I don't think that Hieronymus is going to lower himself to drive the carriage, and I think that Jeverick's probably running alongside or walking alongside this gate, and so so I'm definitely doing that and like waving at everyone, like feeling very important in everything I do, thinking I am the greatest in all that I do.
I mean, you're in the Sablewood at the moment, so you're in the woods. So you're still waving at
I'm still waving
animals
at
and everything. Perfect. I love it.
Trees, birds.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
All right. So you have noticed something unique about the look of the trees here in the Sablewood. What is it?
Oh, I've noticed.
You have noticed, and you get to tell me what it is.
So one thing that I've noticed is that
I love this part of it, by the way.
I would say I've noticed that I see what look like patterns of faces. Kind of
exactly what I was gonna say.
At different points in the trunk, not like just like one face, like it's a tree ant, but like I can see like faces in the trees.
That's awesome. I was literally typing that into the session chat.
It made me be my brain. I mean, it actually be there, but like that's what he's kind of picking out and seeing these patterns that look like that.
Love that. Okay. So let's see. So yeah, absolutely. You see these trees and they're twisted and kind of curved in different places, and the bark has these weird curves and hollows and holes that definitely look like faces, kind of twisted mouths and eyes, and sometimes noses and everything, and it looks like faces going up the bark of the trees. So just to kind of pause to let you guys know, this is one of the GM principles in Daggerheart. Ask questions and incorporate the answers from the players. So yeah. As your steeds pull the carriage around a tight corner, one wheel coming off the ground for just a moment, you see an overturned merchant's cart laying sideways in the path before you, blocking your way. A scattering of fruits and vegetables litter the trail. From around the side of the carriage steps a Strix wolf, a large creature with the body of a wolf, the face of an owl, and large wings adorning its back. First of all, I love that they went with the avatar, let's combine two animals. Fantasy. Love it. A Strix wolf, okay? Face of an owl, wings of an owl, body of a wolf. It finishes chewing its meal, the hand of the dead merchant, as it stares at you, curious, trying to judge whether you are friend or foe. Then you see, following clumsily behind, two small pups watching their mother cautiously. From within, the rest of you feel your carriage come to a stop. What would you like to do?
Driver, why have we stopped?
I am not sure how best to describe this. What would you call a creature who could eat us in a single bite? Would that be a problem?
Annoying.
You might want to come out. Might want to come out and take a look. We sure could use some knowledge as to what we're dealing with here, and we feel like you'd be greatly well disposed at at being able to help us with this situation. Jervik, can you please move closer to that creature? That'd be wonderful.
I
Well,
feel like Louis is also like like has a plastered fake smile on, and he's like, hi, like it's like that.
Hey.
I'm nervous, and
Shut my book and crawl out the back and come around.
okay.
I kind
Jeverick,
of
what are you
position
doing?
myself in front of them between the carriage and the owl thing.
Okay, absolutely. Let's see. So Jeverick, because you are moving closer, why don't you give me our first official roll? So get your duality dice, or yeah, oh, perfect. You have some physical ones. Amazing. Which one is your hope and which one's your fear?
Hope,
Okay, the white one.
fear.
Fantastic. Okay, so, what happens is you see the Strix Wolf is wary of your movement. Let's make our first roll to see how she reacts. This will be using your presence trait. So
Okay.
grab your duality dice and roll them, then add your presence. Or subtract if it's subtract. You can also spend a hope before the roll to add an experience if it applies. Then tell me the total and which die rolled higher.
So the total is 22 with
Fantastic. Awesome.
fear. 12 and a 9.
Okay. 12 and a 9.
But, and then plus 1.
And then plus 1. Okay. Amazing. So, all right. So you succeeded with fear. Amazing. All you had to roll was a 10. So it's a success. However, so in this regard, I would be taking a fear token because you rolled with fear.
Is there an easy way to track that on these character sheets? Have you seen that?
Like what the GM has?
I know. I guess I wouldn't track my fear tokens. It would just be
Correct.
Oh, yeah,
You would just track your hope, and I would track the fear. If
Gotcha.
we were
All right.
in person, then I would have the activity tracker out there.
Gotcha.
So I'll have to see if there's a way to show that to you guys later. Considering this came out like less than 12 hours ago, I don't know yet. But
What are you doing with your life?
well, I did have to finish work, so a work day. But okay, so let's see. So I have taken a fear token. Let's see. As a okay, hold on. Let me read something for a second, and we'll figure out what it does. Let's see here.
I'm really gonna enjoy this journal.
Yeah, you are. Okay. So you succeeded to move closer. The mother did not run away. However, she did hoot howl as if calling to another Strix Wolf among the trees. You know you might not be alone for long. So, didn't run away, didn't attack you, but she did call for help. So.
And she's eating a merchant.
Yeah.
What can I see?
Or has already eaten.
So is it just the hand? This all we can
Pretty
see?
sure that's what was all that was left.
So, can I see what's inside the cart? Like,
You
always looking for an opportunity.
So you saw fruits and vegetables all over that looked like they were spilled on the
okay.
cart. So
Just fruits and vegetables. Okay. All right. Nothing exciting there.
yeah, no gold
boys,
strong box or anything. You know.
I vote we move on. She doesn't seem like she's attacking.
I second that.
Okay. So I will kind of go parallel. I'll follow them. If the cart starts moving, I'll go along.
I go back inside. A little more cautious than before, but I guess I don't read again. I'll wait until we get away.
No, that's okay. So, so how far forward do you go to approach the cart? Do you go all the way up to the cart?
No. I just looked. I'm not approaching the cart. We're
No,
getting out of there.
Jeverick,
Oh.
sorry. Because he moved
Oh.
forward. So technically speaking, this kind of happened as you began to approach. So
Yeah.
you theoretically could have, maybe gone all the way up to the cart, or you could stay halfway, whatever you decide.
I would say like halfway-ish. I do want to kind of get a good look to see if there's anything interesting in the cart, even just like some money or something like that. Anything of use.
Okay. I'll say too that as you move forward, the Strix Wolf kind of backs up a little bit, but doesn't really, like, she gives you space, but she doesn't leave. She doesn't act threatening,
Okay.
to the point where you feel moderately confident you could approach the cart, to search it if you wanted. So-
Yeah. So
So,
if we,
to CJ's point, we don't know what's in the cart per se. We just see fruits and vegetables on the ground.
yeah. So if I feel like that Strix Wolf or whatever is not going to attack me, I may kind of go up to the cart and just kind of look non-threatening. I don't want the thing to feel like it has to protect the pups from me.
Okay.
So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like looking non-threatening and then going to investigate the cart further.
Okay. By the way, I don't know if you have an image to see of this Strix Wolf, but I'm going to show you.
I Googled it. It didn't come up with any images, but
Well, I'm not surprised. This literally came out today.
It's kind of cute.
okay. All right.
And there's
Um,
two little babies there.
Just imagine that with a hand in its mouth.
Yeah.
But again, CJ, not, and all of you for that matter, in the back of this.
You're not supposed to bite the hand that feeds you, but if it literally is the hand that is the food that's feeding you,
Character tokens. Cut out
Okay.
character tokens. So
Okay. So I think if we were to get close enough to the cart that I could just like have one hand on and get my foot down and pick up like an apple or something just to snag a snack as we're going by, like that would probably be the extent of how close I would want to get to the cart.
okay,
Do you
so
have thumbs on
real
your feet?
quick.
pretty
I would-
pretty
yes.
for a human.
Yes.
Amazing.
Never
You can't
seen
do
anybody
that?
do that before. It's
Um,
impressive.
so first of
That I
all,
know of.
as you okay. Let's see. As you approach the cart, let's see. So looking at the cart, you see that it looks like it's been stripped of valuables, and basically you do realize the driver is still there. Just the driver is deceased, and the arm is all that was missing from the driver. But it's picked over by the Strix Wolf family for food. Do you look closer at the driver? What do you want to do?
I say, hey, found someone.
I say
it's
again, we should move on. There's danger here.
So
The
this is
the
intriguing.
cart is blocking the path. You can't really
Okay.
move on without
Gotcha.
doing something.
So this is intriguing. So I'll hop out and I will definitely want to take a look. The fact that valuables have been removed, I don't think that would necessarily be an animal act. That sounds like maybe animals stumbled across an already dead body, and so I'm definitely gonna want to get in there and investigate, see if I can figure out what happened, who this person may have been, and if he has any fancy clothes that I could slip on.
It's
Okay.
weird that someone would have taken all the valuables but that the cart would still be.
Let's
blocking
do
the
this
path.
because CJ needs to roll. Let's have you roll an instinct.
Instinct. Okay, where is that word?
It's your one of your. So Agility, strength,
instinct.
finesse,
I see it.
instinct.
Yeah. I'm
So
tracking.
it's for perceiving. It's for perceiving. So.
All right. So let's see.
Or I would say you could also maybe do knowledge for analyzing it. So, but
Okay,
probably more perceiving at this point or sensing.
So instinct is +0. So I've got a 10 with fear.
A 10 with fear. Okay. So it was a 10. Is an easy roll, but with fear. So again, maybe you kind of like moved too fast as you were kind of looking things around. However, you did notice the merchant looks like they had their throat slit. Not, so it looks like you spooked one of the youngling Strix wolves here, and it kind of like jumped back, and so she kind of like looked at you suddenly and kind of growled, but still nothing.
How much is it? The same size as me? Is it smaller than me?
How big are you? Do you know?
I would say that I'm probably like a little bigger than halfling sized.
Okay. Yeah, much bigger than you.
Much bigger than me. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I scurry scamper back up into the carts.
Yeah. I mean, again, you scared a baby, so the baby was what got scared. It just kind of like,
That's what I mean. Like if I scared the baby and the baby was like moving and not happy with me, if the baby's bigger than me, yeah, I'm backing up again.
Okay. Yeah. So easy enough, like you said, you're able to find that out. That it looks like it was, like I said, not from the Strix wolf. So. Okay. Let's see. As you are examining this, sorry, I forgot your name for a second. Hieronymus.
Hieronymus.
Yes. You are standing back
forget?
a ways. I know, who could forget? Hieronymus, you are standing back a ways, and you are watching this, obviously Louis is searching the cart. Jeverick is kind of standing there next to it as silent sentry, and you are kind of paying attention. So go ahead, and why don't you give me an instinct roll, and let's see what you perceive.
Click. All right. I believe that's 17.
Okay.
Hope is greater than fear.
Fantastic. So you would take a hope token at that point. I don't know. Yeah, so I can't adjust your character sheet.
Okay.
So you would have to. Can you click it and add it? Perfect.
Uh-huh.
So you gain another hope point, and you notice eyes watching you from the darkness beyond the trail. So with that, you notice these eyes. These eyes notice you, noticing them, noticing you. You hear the sounds of a branch snapping and turn to see 4 thistlefolk sneaking through the underbrush, attempting to get the jump on your party. The overturned cart was a distraction, but their plan didn't work. And then this would be when I would be like, bam, slap down the action tracker, and we're going to set up a map and start some combat. So, however, we're going to stop there for tonight. But you all got to roll, which is fantastic.
Leveled up, nice.
and we leveled up. No, just kidding. But guys, we're stopping there. But seriously, how do you feel about it so far?
Yeah,
It's good so far. I would.
Because let me tell you, as the GM, it has walked us through every single thing we've done, single thing that I have needed to say to you, with maybe one or two exceptions where I kind of ad-libbed something. But man, like,
I would agree that to me the best feature so far. We haven't done a lot or any combat, but so far the best feature in like a session 0 or first session kind of thing has been these sort of, force is the wrong word, but they're like mechanical hooks that give give sort of a nudge, an easier nudge for for initial interactions. I think in other popular TTRPGs, that's sort of just up to the DM. And if you have a a set of players that are new, especially, or they don't know each other that well, those kinds of interactions don't happen as organically, and so I think that's a really good feature so far.
Guys, I'm not kidding. I could run this for my kids. It's so easy. Like, they would absolutely, like, I could go in there right now and like literally read them. I mean, they could have obviously different outcomes, but in this paperwork, and this is for all of you out there at home who are watching the video, all 1.5 of you, the cues that it gives are amazing. Like, it'll say, so for example, when I said the first action, okay, and I said the Strix, hold on, let's see. As your steed pulls the carriage around tight corner, you see it. And then basically it's like, it says, allow the PCs to role play for a little bit if they like. When somebody approaches the merchant cart, that triggers the first action roll. Okay. And then it has me read, the Strix Wolf is aware of your movement. Let's make the first roll. If you succeed, and then it gives literally on here, it says, if it's a success, rolling 10 or higher, the roll was with hope. This is what happens. If it was with fear, this is what happens. Read this. Okay. If it's a failure, if they rolled a 9 or below, if it was rolled with hope, then you can read this. But then if it was without hope, if it was a failure with fear, then it kind of lets the GM kind of narrate that. So, or actually, no, it says if it was rolled with fear, there's another sentence below. So, and then it also has if it was a critical success. So yeah, that's, like I said, for a GM, man, at this point, this would be the TTRPG that I would tell someone to learn to GM with. Even if you were going to start playing D&D or DC-20 or something else, the cues and the steps to go through, I mean, this is everything you need to say, this is how you set up RP, this is how you set up a roll, these are the consequences that you must be prepared to give for a roll, whether it's RP or not. On the next page, which we did go through, so like that was Act 1, was like basically you approaching the cart, and was it successful, you approaching it. And then the next page was this is what happened after that. You basically, if they search the merchant's cart, if they attack the Strix Wolf, if they fail any rolls to interact with the Strix Wolf, which none of you did, if they try to find signs of something strange, outside of it, if they want to move the merchant cart out of the way and are taking steps, then you go down to here, and essentially, then it's like the ambush, which basically, Dave, then you, because you were standing around, kind of narrated that you were paying attention, and you rolled well, and you rolled with hope, meaning that you saw the ambush coming. So, and then it was like, oh, you see them coming, or you get ambushed. So we read the see them coming section. So I'm telling you, like, this is fantastic. So
Nice.
Already, I cannot say enough good things about this. So we are going to end it there. And thank you guys for agreeing to do this because I am very pleased with it. If you're playing in person, there's some really good things. Also, too, you guys may print off some of these things just to have as handy guides. This is a PDF that's in the folder, and it's just a playing guide talking about rolling, talking about downtime. So it's got like short rest, long rest, what you can do during that time. Because if you use armor in a fight, you have to repair your armor during the rest, which I love that. I love that resting includes repairing armor. I think that's fantastic. So yeah, there's a quick reference there. There's also a quick reference for all of the starting equipment. So that, is a helpful handy guide there too. And then also, I would say pull up the character sheet, the blank character sheet PDF. Maybe fill it out for your character. That way you get all of the cards that go with it, because the PDFs in there have all of the cards that you basically chose. It has them all as cards, and you can put them in there. And then later on, if we decide to change things around, because some of those cards you can actually change, like some of your abilities and stuff, you can actually spend abilities or stress or whatever to change some things up. So there's mechanics built for that. So awesome. Well, guys, that was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to do this again sometime. You never know. I mean, maybe we can always just like say, oh, well, we're just gonna have to choose another time to do this too. So, but fantastic. I look forward to doing this again. Thank you. Oh, hey, look at that. Cat's Meows jumping in. Cat, how's it going? We just ran through the Critical Role beta test of Daggerheart, which is not D&D, but it is very much like D&D. They came out with their own system, and so we were just learning that. So glad that you were able to stop by for a minute, but we are getting ready to end. How was your stream? Hope it was good, if you're still here. If not, I completely understand, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week. But yeah, real quick, let's just discuss for a second. First impressions. What do you think? To you
Super
guys.
good.
Yeah, it's like,
it seems good.
Yeah, like,
it's easy to play.
I would say the other thing that's notable to me that I thought of is, I remember back in the day of 4E, like there was a lot of criticism for like video game kind of styled things, and I think this does a much better job of implementing some things that I've seen in video games before, right? So like, some of these things like armor degradation and being able to give the player more control over, like, I'm going to spend a point of hope, I'm going to choose to increase stress now, those kinds of things. They're all, to me, they remind me of, I don't know,
4E.
Recharge, or they remind me of some of those mechanics that come from that. But I think they're, at least so far, seem to be done in a little bit better way than I remember back then.
Well, and I don't know if you remember the... Great, now I think I dropped a die. I don't know if you remember the Fantasy Flight Star Wars system.
I do.
But I think that this is a very elegant way to use standard, polyhedral dice to basically use that system, or a very similar system. Because honestly, they had a very similar thing with like an armor threshold and hit points that were low. It wasn't like the other thing. At the same time, though, it wasn't quite as... it It was actually a little less complicated than what this is, but this isn't even really complicated. Like reading through some of that stuff, I feel like it's it explains it really well. Lacey, you are completely fine. Yes, we're trying out a new system. It's called Daggerheart. I think you would love it. In fact, so Lacey, I'm part of her community on Twitch, and we've played Halo together and stuff. She is cracked at Halo, and I'm trying to convince her to come be a guest sometime, whether it's in our campaign proper or maybe in this. So, yeah, it's pretty fantastic. So, super easy to understand, but yeah. Is there less math? Yes, there is mostly less math.
So far,
it's a little bit different in how it approaches the maths, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. And you can actually even she said let's go less math. So, and she would probably shout that. So she's very excitable. Are you still streaming while you're playing and watching as well? Because that's also fantastic. Oh, you didn't stream tonight. Okay, understandable. Well, then thank you for coming to hang out with us for just a little bit here. So, yeah, also, Lacey, you could totally make a little frog character or a cat character, the Katari. So,
I think pets are a thing too. So one of the things I could
Oh, yeah.
have chosen as a wizard was a small
like
Archeon
a familiar
pet.
kind of. Nice. Oh, that's cool. Absolutely. No, it's really good. What else? Anything else you guys thought of or had a thought on?
We
I liked the connection thing. I thought that kind of got things rolling pretty quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys killed that.
We didn't get into this a lot, but there is a lot of freedom to rework your character, to retool it kind of as you go.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so like that would be, there's some things that, in our D&D campaign that I kind of pigeonholed Tika in a little bit, so being able to go, you know what, let's adjust this because this isn't really working, not really
Yeah.
how our character's moving. And that's kind of built in. It's built into.
Yeah,
It
I like how
is.
they just explicitly were like, you can change your agility, strength, and stuff. You can change those around like in the first few sessions. Just like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Also, you can change like your abilities.
Yeah, ability
even
scores. That's what I was trying to think of,
yeah, even like non-wizards have the ability to say, oh, well, I learned this skill, but I've kind of forgotten this skill, and I kind of switch what you, and that's some of the things like when you look at the cards, and again, it's kind of difficult to show, but like here's an example of cards, and this is one of your guardian cards there called and whirlwind actually. So it's like I am your shield and then whirlwind. And these would be physical cards, obviously, but these I just printed them. But it has a cost up here in the corner, almost like a playing card game. And that cost is like 1 stress. And so it says recall cost. Cards can be taken out of your loadout and put into your vault, which makes them inactive. The recall cost is the amount of stress you can spend to bring them back into your loadout. So these are your domain ability cards is what they're called. So it's not all of it, but like, you're because this is actually very similar to what you picked, this level 1 pre-made character, but instead of a clank, an automaton, it's actually a giant. But they picked stalwart guardian.
Yeah.
And then Wanderborn was what they chose. So So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, Lacey. Yeah, it would have been fun if you tuned in sooner because it was really fun to learn actually, and really easy for me as the GM to teach it. So they did a fantastic job. In fact, not that I don't know if you know who Critical Role are, but they are like this system literally came out today in beta test. And so all this stuff is free to download, and you can even create characters, not D&D Beyond, but they have a website called Demiplane, and it's basically D&D Beyond for non-D&D games. And so you can do that there. So anyone watching, definitely check that out. I'm going to definitely have to send Austin and Solace to go do that as well. But they are actually playing right now the beginning of a campaign or a one shot in the game. So I may actually switch over to that in a minute when we finish. So just to check it out, or I may wait and see what they're doing with it, because they actually already put out their session 0 and it was like 2 hours. So I may watch the session 0 and then watch that. So, but yeah. Critical Role. I don't know. I'm super excited about this. And way more excited than Avatar Legends, which I tried to run last week and it did not go well. So, but anyway, thank you guys for trying something new. I honestly am super excited to get back to this, sometime. So, Kat, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and just enjoy playing some Fortnite or watching something, whatever you're going to do. Have a nice, relaxing evening. I'll see you in your next stream, I'm sure. And thank you, Riding Gamer, Josh, for joining us earlier. Appreciate you as well. And we'll see you next time. So, good night.